Hey there, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. This is Nate English here, and I wanted to share two thoughts that were on my mind a lot recently in case they are helpful to you or to get your take on them and see how you're thinking about things. Obviously, 2020 was a very challenging year for athletes and people that like to compete or do organized events, whether it's running or cycling or triathlon, like just everything has been challenging. And it appears that it will continue to be so for a while into the future. So when I'm thinking about my own training and thinking about the training and goals of the athletes that I work with, I think that there's two things that really come up a lot for me recently. One is that any good training that you do and any good workouts and progress that you make in your fitness, it might not pay off in a race result or a race PR anytime soon because there just aren't opportunities to do that. But it will help pay off and contribute to future success down the line. And if we get sidelined by the challenges and the lack of short-term goals that we might have right now because of COVID, that would take away from any future results that we would have. Because if we go, through 2020 and early 2021 without good training, if races come back mid-year or late this year, or we start to plan for next year, if we don't have all that training, we don't have the progress that we could have been making during this time, it's going to show up when we do get back to racing. The other idea that keeps coming back to me as I'm thinking about, how I orient myself towards the coming year and how I think about interacting with my clients as we look towards the coming year. There's a lot of uncertainty, and I think that it's really key always, but especially right now, to be creative about how it is that we orient our training and plan it and how we select goals and targets to shoot for in training and as we set up for racing. Or if we don't race, just like what kinds of fitness goals we can have. We always want to be looking for creative ways that allow us to have focus and help motivate our training and help get us excited to get out and train every day. I think that in principle, both of these things are pretty obvious if you think about them, but I think that a lot of times people seem like they might lose sight of these things. If you did good training in 2020 and in early 2021, whenever events come back, whenever you can start doing those group rides again, all of the training is going to pay off. And in the meantime, last year I've kind of commented a little bit about how I, went into the pandemic and decided that I wanted to double down on having good training and setting myself up for a possible assault on a couple of KOMs that I had lost over the years that I, really wanted to get back and I knew would be very challenging. And so that was kind of the focus of my training throughout the spring of 2020. And, even though I wanted to be doing some racing and some gravel rides, I wasn't able to do that. So I refocused on something that, for me at least, was exciting and actionable and I knew was challenging, but it was something that I could achieve if everything went well. And looking back at those months that I spent in the spring focused on, high threshold and aerobic capacity fitness, it won't necessarily pay off in any races that I did last summer because there weren't any races, but it was good training and it helped add to my fitness and it helped create, changes in my body that will help contribute to future success. And, whenever it is that racing comes back, if I had spent those months just kind of riding easy, getting some miles in, and not challenging myself and moving my fitness forward in some direction or another, I would have missed out on a training opportunity that could contribute to whatever future PRs I set or whatever future racing results I might get. So, just remember, like all the training that we do, all the good work that we do in our training routines, all contribute to our current and future success. And the fitter we are now, the fitter we can become in the future as we keep trying to build over time. Obviously, we need to balance, training stress and recovery and have a well-rounded kind of sane training plan. Whatever work that we do, as long as we're recovering well, we're doing challenging training and we're moving our fitness forward, it's going to pay off at some point when we do have races or we do go after those KOMs or PRs or new peak power numbers or whatever it is. Likewise, in the meantime, before events start coming back, try to be creative and think about things that can be motivating for you. And, for me, I'm trying to think about what I want to be working on this year. And there's a few different possible goals that I'm picking out. And for me, like January 1st isn't a magical day. So I'm kind of mulling it over as I do good kind of foundational training in January. And in the not too distant future, I think I'll settle on what I know I want to be shooting for. And, a few of them are just fast times on climbs. And then there's some other challenges that I'm considering shooting for, depending on just how I'm feeling about it, how actionable I think they are, and how motivating they are for me. I would encourage you to think about what it is that's going to excite you and get you up and training every week, because it looks like it might be a little while before we have a regular return to organized events. We'll see how it is. Maybe it's just a few months away. Maybe it's going to come back later in 2021. And if you are doing good training, and let's say you pick some arbitrary kind of fitness targets where you want to set some PRs on some climbs, or you want to like really master doing a couple of core workouts that you really love doing and really contribute to your fitness, you could plan on doing that into the spring and maybe shoot for like April or May as a time where you could reach like a little mini peak early in the season. And if races come back and there's opportunities to do those events that you want to be doing at that time, you can just kind of redirect your attention towards preparing for those events specifically, but you already would have been doing good work over January, February, and March to set yourself up for that. Or if races don't come back until much later in the year, if you do have a progression and you reach like a mini peak in the late spring and then you kind of regroup and keep training towards those events later, that works very well just the same. And just remember, all those workouts, they do contribute to future success, even if you don't have a race to shoot for this weekend. But yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you get some good training in and set yourself up for a good season, whatever that might look like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.